Hi everyone, welcome back to SAT Math Tutor. Today we're delving into an essential topic in algebra, factoring multiple formats of a quadratic equation, including the method of completing the square. Let's explore. Factoring quadratic equations come in many forms. Let's consider a standard quadratic equation in the form x squared plus 4x minus 12. Now you convert it to this form, x plus a times x minus b. Now a times b equals negative 12, or this number, and a plus b equals 4, or the coefficient of x. Now a equals 6 and b equals negative 2, since 6 times 2 is negative 12 and 6 minus 2 is 4. So the resulting form is x plus 6 times x minus 2. Now for this equation, 3x squared plus 12x minus 36, you can factor out the 3 from the equation. So that's 3 times x squared plus 4x minus 12. Now you can solve this part like you did before with this standard equation. A times b equals negative 12 and a plus b equals 4. So a equals 6 and b equals negative 2. So the resulting form is 3 times x plus 6 times x minus 2. Now for this quadratic equation where you cannot factor out the 3, this is 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. Now for this one, you convert it to an x plus a times x plus b form. Now because of this, then a times b does not equal negative 8, but instead equals 3, the coefficient of x squared, times negative 8, this number, equals negative 24, and a plus b remains the same, 10. So a equals 12 and b equals negative 2. Now that is not all. You have to do a divided by 3, the coefficient of x squared. In this case is 12, so 12 divided by 3. You do not remove this part because you may need that. So 12 divided by 3 can be simplified to 4 divided by 1. And now for b divided by 3, this is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 3, you cannot simplify that any further. Now this 1, this denominator of the fraction is x. So this is what times x. In this case, this is 1 times x. So this just appears as x. And then this is the next number. This is what is plus or minus x. So this, in this case, this is x plus 4. And now for this one, this is 3 in the denominator. So that's 3 times x, or 3x. And then minus 2. So that means it is 3x minus 2. And now for these equations, x squared minus y squared does equal x minus y times x plus y. But this does not mean x squared plus y squared equals x plus y times x plus y. Now we have an equation, x squared minus 10x plus 18 equals 0. Now completing the square involves manipulating the equation to express it as a perfect square trinomial, making it easier to solve. This technique of completing the square is valuable, especially when dealing with quadratic equations that might be challenging to factorize using other methods. So, in this equation, x squared minus 10x plus 18 equals 0, this equation is not factorable. So, first we subtract 18, this number, from both sides. So now it comes out as x squared minus 10x equals negative 18. Now, we complete the square. So, we add b divided by 2 squared to both sides of the equation. Now, b would be the coefficient of x, aka, in this case, negative 10. So this is x squared minus 10x plus negative 10 divided by 2, and then that's squared. Add to both sides. Now this negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5, and negative 5 squared is 25. So we add 25 to both sides of the equation. And now this side, negative 18 plus 25 equals 7. And this side we factor normally. So in this case, since this should be a perfect square, now a times b equals 25 and a plus b is negative 10. And since it is perfect square, a equals b, which equals negative 5. Since negative 5 times itself is 25 and negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. So this is x minus 5 squared equals 7, so x minus 5 is the square root of 7. Now we are converting and multiplying equations. So in this part, x squared plus 8x, we are trying to convert to this format. X plus something squared minus something. This should be minus. So first of all, the coefficient of x, which is 8. So 8 divided by 2 equals 4. And now if we square that, it equals 16. And the perfect square for this equation would be x squared plus 8x plus 16. But then minus 16 since there's no 16 in here. And the perfect square is x plus 4 squared, and then we have to include the negative 16. So that's how you convert this form to this form. And now we have these equations. So x plus y in parentheses squared equals x squared plus 2 times x times y plus y squared. So for example, in x plus 3 squared, this equals x squared plus 6x, 2 times 1 times 3, and then plus 9, which is 3 squared. And now x minus y squared is relatively the same, except the negative 2xy. So x minus y squared equals x squared minus 2 times x times y plus y squared. So for example, in this equation, y minus 2 squared, it is y squared minus 4y plus 4. And that's the essence of quadratic factoring and converting and multiplying equations. Feel free to drop any questions or topics you'd like to see covered in the comments below. And thank you for joining today. Don't forget to subscribe for more SAT Math Insights. Until next time, happy studying.